you will be learning.
దానికి కట్టుకొచ్చింది అది అట్లే కొన్నిసార్లు మైక్ ఆఫ్ చేసి చచ్చిపోతుంది మళ్ళీ సారీ గైస్ ఐ డిడెంట్ రియలైజ్ దట్ ద మైక్ వాజ్ ఆఫ్ I'll repeat myself, I didn't teach much. It's just the basics. అంతేగా ఇవన్నీ కవర్ అవుతుందా స్క్రీన్
Okay, of you have never ever baked biscuits. So that I will also give you guys a small understanding about how you have to do biscuits, things you'll have to concentrate or things you'll have to know before you do biscuits. How many of you have never ever made biscuits at home? Never ever. Oh wow, we have a lot of you guys. Never ever. Alright, so since you have never, so many of you have never ever made. Oh wow, okay, we have a lot of you. Alright, no issues at all. Biscuits are very, very simple. Biscuits are very easy. Basically, what is a biscuit? Biscuit is nothing but a combination of fat, flour, just fat, flour, sugar. Just 3 ingredients in different ratios. So you can make any biscuit just by taking some amount of butter, some amount of sugar and some amount of flour. Just mix it up together, add little vanilla essence and make it into any shape and keep it in the oven. It will get baked. So here are a few things which you'll have to remember. Although ratio is very important, recipe basically tells you the ratio. The difference between a ratio and recipe is that ratio you consider only for the major ingredients in any particular recipe. So here you see like 6-7 items in front of you, but it's difficult to get in ratio for all of these. So ratio is generally considered for sugar to flour to butter in with respect to biscuits. So these 3 ingredients, just with these 3 ingredients you can make biscuit. You don't need anything else. You don't need milk, you don't need eggs, you don't need water, you don't need anything, baking powder, soda, nothing is actually required. With these 3 ingredients you will be able to do any biscuit. We all agree on this, right? So now what decides the different taste and texture of texture of biscuit is that the recipe basically tells you a ratio of fat to flour. In a recipe, if the fat is properly balanced, well balanced, you end up having a very crispy and a very snappy biscuit. When you just snap it, it just like sprinkles all over like a cracker, sprinkles all over, and then the biscuit crumbs fall apart, fall everywhere, and then when you bite it is not brittle. It is not brittle, but it is flaky. A biscuit is never brittle. What is a brittle biscuit? Brittle is basically katak. When you bite into a biscuit, it should not hurt your jaw, and it should not be like katak from this side to this side. The biscuit is just like going around. A biscuit should just dissolve in your mouth, and it should dissolve slowly. It should not dissolve like very fast. So the ratio decides different type of biscuits. So here today we'll be learning around 4 types of biscuits using which you can create like numerous variations, and I've given you like plenty of variations. But before, understand basics of biscuits. So here definitely it's just three major ingredients. Here we are not going to use maida, we are not going to use white sugar, but we are going to use whole wheat flour. Some of you asked me, millet can I use? The first attempt, whoever is making the first 2-3 attempts of all the biscuits, don't use millets. Later, after the 3rd attempt, after you are very successful, you got the biscuits exactly like how we want it to be, and later in the next 3rd attempt or your 4th attempt, add 1 tablespoon or 1.5 tablespoon of millet. You can remove whole wheat flour, 1 tablespoon, and add whichever millet you want. You cannot make this biscuit entirely with millet though. You will need some whole wheat flour. Okay, so and we'll be using jaggery, so I'll tell you all of that, but before we'll understand. So since biscuits are butter based, it's not like it's oil based or butter based. The major element in a biscuit is butter. Alright, so this is exactly why all the companies don't use butter. One reason is when you use butter, shelf life is reduced. If you see any biscuits shelf life is like months. right? It's like months, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, the biscuit shelf lives are. So that is because of using of hydrogenated vegetable fat, which is not recognized by your body. Your body doesn't recognize, and which is why nature also doesn't recognize it, which is why the biscuits does not spoil for such a long time. So when you make a biscuit, definitely all of these biscuits have a very good shelf life, even for 1 month. If you keep it in the fridge, it will stay very good. 1.5 months, it is in the fridge, you can store it and you can again reheat it and use it. But then in the room temperature, they will spoil within 1 week, not 1 week, 15 days to 20 days. In the room temperature, they might become soggy, soft, or sometimes moist because of the presence of jaggery. But if you want to make in bulk, you can always make it in the fridge, keep it in the fridge, and I'll also tell you guys how to replenish your biscuits, all of that. Okay, so what is major concept? Since it is all fat based, the biscuit is basically fat based, the type of fat which you're using and the temperature of fat which you're using is very, very important. Can we have the butter here? Temperature of fat is very important. So if you are in India, so we are using all the biscuits we did using Amul biscuit. If you get President, you can go for President butter, you can go for Milky Mist, you can go for any butter. If you're in a different country, go for a high fat butter like Ellen Royale, like Anchor, like Kerrygold, all of these butter. If you're in a different country, use any high fat butter if possible. If not, just regular Amul butter also works. So now here, Ridu, show me the butter as it is, and then the texture. Janvi, show me one from the fridge, and the one fixed temperature. Thank you. So butter here, this is from the fridge. We've chopped the butter, kept in the fridge. It is rock hard. If you drop it in a bowl, you can hear the knob, right? So butter should not be this hard. So again, there are multiple things which you'll have to remember. So butter has to be in a moldable condition. Butter has to be in a moldable condition, top angle, which is very, very important when you are making any biscuit. The butter's temperature decides how crispy your biscuits will be. Show me a wrong butter. So this is the right consistency of butter. See here, butter has to be cold. Butter has to be cold. When you touch it, it has to be cold. But at the same time, it should be pliable using a hand beater. So this is what is important. If you're in winter, if it is winter, you can microwave the butter, like measure the butter like this, microwave butter for during winter, maybe 7 seconds or 10 seconds. During summer, just take it from the fridge and just use it. During summer, in hot places, even in Bangalore, we are doing that. So I think in any other places, just cut the butter, keep it in the fridge, or take the butter from the fridge, cut it, and directly use it in summer. Especially for those who are from Chennai, we saw a lot of people from hot cities, right? For all those who are from hot cities, take the butter, cut it, just wait for 2-3 minutes, measure everything else, and then you just check. Butter consistency is important. Later after the class, if you come to me telling me the biscuit was brittle or biscuit was chewy, biscuit was hard, the answer is this. Your butter was not in the right consistency. Or for example, if your biscuit did not hold its shape, front angle. If the biscuit was not holding shape, major problems or all the problems of a biscuit happens only with butter. It doesn't happen in any other step. The butter which you are using is Amul butter, the Amul blue color unsalted butter. If you want to use salted butter, you can use salted butter. A lot of bakers use salted butter for biscuit. So remove the salt from the recipe, or you can slightly reduce the salt from the biscuit. Okay, so all issues. Your biscuit is greasy. Your biscuit did not bind well, it did not form well, it crumbled. While you're baking, it got crumbled. Or your biscuit is brittle, your biscuit is hard. The reason is this. Your butter was not at the right consistency. And exactly why companies use hydrogenated vegetable fat. Hydrogenated vegetable fat in almost all room temperatures remain the same. So it's easy, right? when there are workers doing the biscuits in huge quantities, in when they use truckloads of fat and flour, it's difficult to maintain consistency. I mean, who will check the butter's consistency from top to bottom if your recipe calls for like 1 ton of butter? Right, so which is why companies use. So please make sure. This is the only problem. I'm so sure many of you will end up having a brittle biscuit. If you end up having a brittle biscuit, this is the answer. So I'll show you again. Your butter has to be in a moldable consistency. When you squeeze it, you should be able to reshape it. Whichever shape you want, you should be able to reshape it. You want to make it into a triangle, you should be able to make it into a triangle. Make it into a sphere, you should be able to. You should be able to mold the butter completely, and when you touch the butter, butter has to be cold. If you do this and if you maintain the dough's temperature, there's literally not going to be any issue. All the biscuits you're going to get exactly like how we have produced. Just these two things. Actually, one thing: temperature. Temperature of the butter, temperature of your ingredients, temperature of the final dough. Only these two things. That's all. Fine. So now we will get started. Is it clear for all of you? Type of butter also does not really affect. It is the temperature of butter and the temperature of dough. Is it clear? And there will be one more third point, which is consistency of the dough. Say for example, today we are going to use this is whole wheat flour, and we have picked up Ashirwad brand, which is very commonly available for us. If you're planning to do commercially, pick up a brand which is easily available and which is available all throughout the year, so that your consistency doesn't change. Because why am I saying this? Is because if you keep changing the brands, if you're doing commercially, or if you want to do as hobby baker also, if you want perfect results every time, so pick up a brand which is consistently available and it is always available to you. Okay, and for commercial purposes, I would personally refrain from using home ground flours, because home ground flours, every time the type of wheat changes, the type of grinding changes, sometimes it's got more brand. So I wouldn't use home ground wheat flour for commercial purposes. So pick up a brand which is very comfortably available for you. Alright, so one more point why I wanted to say is the third point, right? Depending upon which flour you're using, wheat flour generally absorbs a lot of moisture. So depending upon which flour, if there is liquid in the recipe, say for example, if the recipe contains a little bit of milk, absorption of different wheat flour is different. If you're using Ashirwad, if you're changing it to Pillsbury, if you're changing it to Urban Platter, if you're changing it to different brands, absorption will be different. You got to be very careful about how much milk goes in. Why am I saying all of this before the class? Is because I don't want anybody to have any issues. If you remember all of these biscuits are like so easy. Even a 12-year-old can do all of these biscuits. Alright. So just these 3 points. The first is temperature of butter, temperature of your dough, the final dough, and the consistency of the final dough. If your dough is too warm, if your dough is like very soft, extremely soft, you're cutting it, shaping it and putting it into the oven, what will happen? The butter will disintegrate. We don't have any emulsifiers. If you notice, we don't even have egg for that matter. Right? So we don't have any emulsifiers, any stabilizers in this. It's just pure natural ingredients. Everything is natural ingredients. Right? So temperature of the dough and the consistency of the dough is also important. Fine. So these are the 3 points. Remember these 3 points. If you remember these 3 points, everything else is going to be very easy. Shall we get started? Yes. So here one more small thing which we have observed is, so this is top angle. So this is regular wheat flour. Since we want to make nice, smooth, crispy biscuits, so all the flour I'm just showing you guys a small portion. So whichever flour you're using, you can personally grind it a little. So here also we will be having in this recipe. So this recipe, first we are going to do butter biscuits. So here are the ingredients for the butter biscuit. So here is my whole wheat flour, Ashirwad. and we'll be having a little bit of almond flour. Okay, so almond flour adds to a good taste. Almond flour adds to good taste and also adds to crunchiness of your overall biscuit. So we're going to take a little bit of almond flour, a little bit of this whole wheat, and we're going to grind. So the almond flour is the blanched almond flour, and we're going to grind this. So we also have a little bit of salt. I'm adding in the salt here. All the dry things goes in. So simply sieve it, sieve all the ingredients that we have ground. So what does grinding helps? Grinding these flours help. It gives you a very smooth flour. See, we learned that bakeries use maida because maida has less fiber. The lack of fiber in maida makes it a very good alternative. I mean, very good flour. One more bowl. Very good flour for all the bakery products, right? So here, by grinding it to a really fine powder, what are we trying to achieve? We are trying to achieve a super fine flour, usually wheat, and especially for those who are using organic flour, who buy organic flour or home flour, please grind it at least twice or thrice. Just the flour, you grind it twice. And if you grind with almond flour too much, this flour will become moist. You can see here, the flour will become moist because almond flour contains oil. So if you are using a front angle, Janvi, if you're using if you're using store-bought flour, just grind it like how I'm doing. Today I'm using Ashirwad. But if you're using home ground flour or if you're buying organic brands, especially 24 mantra and all, I've just noticed in organic brands, they don't grind it so smooth. They grind it, they leave it a little rough and dry. So you have to grind it so that it gives you overall biscuits nice binding. Alright, so now you understood the point. So if you're using organic or home ground, grind the flour itself some 2 or 3 times in the mixie and then add the almond flour and then grind it. If you grind it for another 10 seconds, this will become even more softer and moister. We don't want the oils from the almond flour to release. Alright, so now we will get started. So into a bowl we will add in our moldable butter. You guys can have a look at it. See the butter is here. I'll be easily able to mold it into any shape, like literally any shape, because it's cold. You want to make it into a heart shape, you want to make it into any shape, it will be moldable. Okay, so that kind of butter, chop the butter and you'll add the butter here. And then to the butter, we will add in our top angle. So the jaggery that we are using is this jaggery, the round jaggery, and prefer a jaggery which is yellow in color. I mean, less molasses is better for you. For all the biscuits, more molasses, your biscuit will become chewy. If your jaggery is not yellow in color like this, your biscuit might become chewy and your biscuit also might become dark. And please do not use jaggery powder. There are different brands. French angle. Can I request people to turn on your cameras? I don't think. How many of you are concentrating in the class? Okay, alright. I don't see anyone. Okay, cool. Alright. Okay. Alright. So jaggery, please buy yellow jaggery. Even this jaggery, if you're having it at home and if it has already become very brown in color, please don't use it. Please don't use it. If you use it, your biscuits will end up becoming chewy. That's all. If you are fine with slightly chewier biscuit, it's absolutely fine, go for it. But if you want that crispy biscuit, super flaky biscuit, just like Good Day, then you have to use this jaggery only. Okay, and don't use jaggery powder. Jaggery powder from different companies exists. Jaggery powder is powdered in large quantities. By the time it's powdered and it's packed, it goes through a process called as oxidization, and then with the oxidization and the time of packing, processing, and then it is on the shelf counter for a long time. Even if it is fully packed, it still goes through continuous oxidization and it becomes darker, and more molasses, your biscuit will become chewier, right? Okay, top angle. Okay, so you can use a grater or you can use a hammer and then you can powder the jaggery. So powder this jaggery like this. And to the butter, we will add in our jaggery. And simply we will just beat it. And use a steep bowl. If you notice, I'm using a steep bowl here. I'm not using a wide bowl. Guys, can you see? I'm using a steep bowl. I'm not using a wide basin. So you will beat this until the jaggery dissolves. Until the jaggery dissolves, you will beat it. Don't ask me for replacements. If there are any replacements, I will myself come forward and I'll tell you guys. Don't ask me for replacements. Please concentrate in the class, in a lot of things that I'm sharing here. So here, how long you'll have to beat? You'll have to beat until the jaggery dissolves. And that is why colder the butter, it is better for you. Colder the butter, what happens? Even if you beat for a slightly longer time, your butter just not gets aerated. So that's all. This is good enough. So the recipe is so simple. All you'll have to do right now is take in your flour and we're going to crumble the flour and the butter here. And the speed in which I'm doing is speed 2. Alright, see here, we've crumbled the butter and the flour. So this is good enough. At this point of time, we're going to stop. And please stop it here. If at all, I'll tell you where you are already wrong. If at all, at this stage, if your mixture doesn't look like this, it means you've already done a mistake. Your butter was too soft. You might not get the same results. That itself is an indication. So at that place, what you can do, just chuck this inside the fridge for at least 1 hour. You have to stop the process. Front angle. You'll have to stop the process. 1 minute. Top angle. Okay, so what you'll have to do is, you will have to keep this in the fridge at least for 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour. You'll have to halt the process. There's nothing doing. And then again take the hand beater and then again crumble it. Once it is cold, again you'll be able to crumble it. So at this point of time, our biscuit dough is actually ready. Guys, for those who are already making biscuits, this might look a little boring, but see, trust me, I've made so many biscuits, but the method here, what we follow is very important. That is why, even if you are an expert, even if you are a professional baker, please do all of these steps. Okay, so if it is not in this consistency, if it is already becoming a dough or a batter, then please keep it in the fridge for 45 minutes to 1 hour, and it has to become hard. It has to become hard, and then if you're unable to cut it, just use a knife, cut it, and then put it in a hand beater again, crumble the dough again, and then start the process. Alright, so now what we will do is, we will add in a little bit of milk. So if you can consume eggs, you can replace the milk with egg yolk. If you can consume, and anyways, yolk is also nutritious. Add a little bit of milk. Don't add all the milk. Even if I'll give you a recipe when it comes to biscuits, please don't add all the milk. Like I said, depending upon the temperature of butter, depending upon the structure of the wheat flour, liquid absorption will vary for everybody. So please add little bit of milk, and you can keep milk as cold because summer is approaching. Keep the milk in the freezer until you come to this step, and then add in the milk. I think for me this milk is good enough. It's okay. That's all. So this is good enough. One more bowl. This is good enough. Our dough is ready. So here what I'm going to do is, I want to tell you guys, with this recipe you can create different types of biscuits. So before we get into this, I'll tell you what are the types. So you can do all of these types of biscuits using this dough that we have made. You can create a cashew biscuit, you can create a butter biscuit, you can create the coffee bean, you can create almond biscuits, and you can also create sweet and salt, which I'm going to show you today. Alright? And I will tell you guys how are we going to change, how are we going to modify. All of that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to first make cashew biscuit in this, and I'm also going to make butter biscuit. For the butter biscuit, we don't need cashew, so I'm going to remove half of this to show you guys. Alright, so here we have divided this dough. So I'm going to do this biscuit. I'm going to do this biscuit. Right now I'm going to do almond biscuits. So for the almond biscuits, we will add in some almond. And this I'm going to leave it as it is. Come here. And we're going to simply make a dough. Give me the... So we're going to simply make a dough. Another very important point for all of you. See, my class will be loaded with tips. I will not just tell you guys do this, do that, take this recipe, dump it, do it. I will give you 1,000 tips. Please note down all the 1,000 tips. And I think that is only because of that, there's a lot of success rate among students. You will not fail easily if you remember and do all of these. So don't knead the dough. Do you guys know what is kneading? Kneading is taking this dough and then squeezing it between your hands like this. That is called as kneading. So don't knead the dough. Is it clear? I want everyone to be active on the chat window. If it is it clear, if it's clear, just say it's clear. Okay. Do not knead. If you knead, your biscuits will become brittle. If you knead. This is good enough, you can start. So here what you're going to do, so this is a cut biscuit. This is a cut biscuit. So this is a cutout biscuit. So what we're going to do is, I'm putting 2 silicone mats. You can use parchment paper, 2 parchment paper, and that's all. You just have to shape it. If at all, if it is crumbling here, if it is crumbling here, what you can do is, again you can slightly break it out like this. Today for me it is not crumbling, but if at all, if it crumbles for you, break it down like this. Keep a little bit of water, touch the water in your finger and then just dab a little. Don't add half a teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon of milk into it. Just dip your hand in a little bit of milk and then just again try to form a ball. It will form a shape. Guys, I'm telling you so many troubleshooting techniques so that you don't fail at all. You should not fail in any seasons. And here again, so at this time I will show you guys the dough texture. It is not oily. Can you see here? It is not oily. It's got a little bit of shine and I can feel the dough is cold.
You are right. Absolutely.
Fine. If at all, if the dough is not cold, you guys know what to do. Just keep this in the fridge, cling wrap it, keep it in the fridge for at least 15-20 minutes. And when you're going to put another parchment paper on the top, what you'll have to do is slightly flatten it out before you do. So here what Ridu is doing is, Ridu is going to show you guys how to create patterns. Like your Parle-G biscuits, how to create pattern. So simply place on it. And when you're rolling again, don't roll with a lot of strength and energy. If you do it, here no matter how well the dough is, it will crumble, it will break. Because we haven't added a lot of milk. I hope you guys are writing it down. Divya, come here. Make it to speaker mode. Speaker mode. Ritu, come here. You continue. Okay. I want to know how many of you writing the points. All the points that I'm telling you, please write it down. So that I'm telling you, you don't even have to. Divya, you can change. So that you don't even have to come back to me. There's no need of after class support. There is no need of anything. You will be you will be able to do this all by yourself without anybody's support. So please write down all of these points. So don't give a lot of pressure. Click on give. Speak. So don't knead it with a lot of pressure. Front angle once. I'll show you guys the pressure that I'm adding. Don't press it down like this. Don't press it down like this. Be very gentle. Do it slowly. From the center to the side, you'll have to transport the dough. Don't roll it with high pressure. If you guys have ever seen sheeters that's used in bakeries, a sheeting machine sheets so evenly, so smoothly. You keep the dough and the sheeter just goes down. It goes in this speed. This is the speed at which it works. Sheeters don't work in this speed. Alright? Alright, so here again, now thickness. What is the thickness we want? We will decide. Top angle. Ritu, what is the thickness? For 0.5 mm for both. Alright, 0.5 mm thickness. And I'm using a floral cutter. You can pick up any cutter, whichever cutter is available to you, pick up any cutter. So this is a cutter that I liked for this design. Cut out, try to cut out the maximum. Ritu, you can cut this out. try to cut out maximum so that you get maximum amount of cookies, and then you get these stamps on Amazon. It's available on Amazon in different patterns. It's available on different brands, different patterns, so you can use these too. Divya, try for it.
Recently read out the news the cards మీద మాత్రం డిస్కౌంట్ ఉంది మొబైల్ టికెట్ అది ఈ ముందు వరకు ఉండే ఎప్పుడు రివైజ్ అయినాక లేదు ఎస్ బిఫోర్ రివిజన్ దెర్ వాస్ టికెట్స్ ఇది డిస్కౌంట్ ఫర్ ఫోన్ టికెట్ ఆల్సో జాస్తి చూసుకుంటున్నాను ఇట్ వాస్ పేయింగ్ 57 rupees పేయింగ్ 90 rupees వన్ ప్లేట్ imagine కష్టము ఆఫీస్ ఈవినింగ్ నడుచుకొని వస్తా పొద్దున్న స్వెట్ అయిపోతా అంటే కరెక్ట్గా పోయి ఓపెన్ చేసేసుకుంటున్నాను పెద్దగా కారణం
Alright, so how many of you here want to bake professionally or take these professionally? These biscuits. So for those who want to take these biscuits professionally, here's some tip. So every time, no matter how well you roll, you'll always have some kind of discard like this. You'll have some amount of discard. And every time you roll, and every time you re-roll, every time you take the scrap, you knead it, you shape it, and then you roll it, you cut it, and if you again you will have discard. What will happen? The last few batches of biscuit will end up becoming brittle. The last few batches of biscuit will become brittle. What is brittle? Do you guys understand what is brittle? So your biscuits will end up being brittle. So here is a small tip. What you do, we know the consistency of the dough. The consistency of the dough should be like this. If you press, a mark should be visible. It should not be greasy, it should not be oily, it should not be sticky. If at all, if it becomes greasy, the more you knead, there's a lot of heat from your hand, the more you knead, it will become greasy. So simple hack, just keep the discards in the fridge for 15-20 minutes, and then you can again reshape it. So that way, all the biscuits will be of same consistency, same texture. So since the consistency is already good, it's already good, I'm going to just reshape it. Don't roll it too fast. Unnecessary cracks will form in the biscuits, and try to roll the biscuits evenly. How many of you, if you have already baked, the biscuits that you keep, some biscuits becomes black, some biscuits becomes brown, some biscuits are golden, some biscuits are white, ununiform color. If you ever take any biscuit, the entire batch of biscuits should have same color. Front angle. Right? The entire batch of biscuits should have the same color. Only then it will be nice, it will taste nice, it will look nice, and it will have the same consistency. So the reason behind different colors for every biscuit is not rolling the biscuit evenly. So you will have to roll the biscuit evenly throughout. So that is why I said don't give a lot of pressure, roll it with very less pressure, and as you are rolling, use this part of your hand to touch and gauge how evenly you have rolled. If you have not evenly rolled, try to adjust it. And roll them evenly. Okay? Alright, so here we are done with you can decorate this. So here this is are almond biscuits, where you can just bake them as it is, but it looks really pretty with slivered almonds decorated as flower. And now for the salted one, top angle. Alright, so here what Ritu is doing is, yeah, I'll show them. See here, since we'll have to place 4 slivered almonds, she's using a toothpick. You can see here, she's using a toothpick, dipping the toothpick in milk, and then just placing the milk wherever is required. What a smart hack! You don't have to brush the entire biscuit with milk. Use a toothpick and apply little bit of milk and then place your slivered almonds there. Yeah. And for the salted biscuits, see the method is same, but for the salted biscuits in the recipe, salt will be more. Front angle, the recipe is same. I'm just gonna show you how we make salted ones. So you spray. I'm using a little bit of kosher salt on the surface for the salted biscuit. Follow the salted biscuit recipe and simply roll it out. And I'm using a nozzle, back of the nozzle, to cut out small coin sized biscuits. If you know, salted biscuits in the bakeries are all small coin shaped. You can create it in different shape, whatever shape you want, you can create. And here, one more small thing, sometimes you will not be able to remove the biscuits from the mat. Don't worry if you're not able to remove, just keep the mat in the fridge for again 15-20 minutes. Biscuit, the time is 20 minutes. Most of the biscuits for a batch of like half kg, 250 grams biscuit, it will be around 20 minutes. Time is good enough. Top angle. Alright, so now here another small thing which you'll have to notice. Biscuits of same size goes in the same tray. Biscuits of different size are not placed in the same tray. Only same size biscuits. Why? Because when you're baking, when these biscuits brown, you will have to remove the tray out. It will be difficult for you because these biscuits will not be baked by then. Alright? So always place biscuits of same size in the same tray. Different size, even if it is from the same batch, please separate the trays. Fine? Alright, so far, can you guys consolidate? You're going to give the tip for door rolling and cutting for professional order? What was that? I just told you guys. Okay, front angle. Okay, so far, how many tips have I given you? Can anyone consolidate it and put it in the chat window? Malika, can you? Anybody out there? Put the points. List out the points. There's so many things I myself don't remember. That is why you'll have to write down. Alright, so now, to make professionally, what is very important I want to make sure all the biscuits are baked in the same color. Right? Same shape though, when you're using a cutter, the cutter is going to give you same shape. Color is something which is decided by the skill of a baker. Say for example, you're a professional baker and you're selling like half a kilo of cookies, biscuits for Diwali or for Holi. When can you sell it? If you can make these biscuits, you can show, give me a box of biscuits. You will have to show, I'll show you how it is made. So what makes biscuits really beautiful? I know cakes are there and all of it. What makes biscuits really beautiful? You can see here we have a batch of baked biscuits, top angle. So the color of the biscuits decides the sellability of your biscuits. See here, all the biscuits are of same color. Is it interesting, guys? Is the class being interesting? You guys are learning something new. See here, that is what makes your biscuits sellable, professional. All the biscuits have to be of same color, whichever color biscuits are, whichever shape the biscuits are. You can see here, these are again these biscuits. Check out the color. Each biscuits are of same thickness and same color. Highly sellable, and you can also price them very well. Front angle, do you guys agree? So with biscuits, that is what is very important. So you have to learn to roll the biscuits to equal thickness throughout. Roll the biscuits through equal thickness, and if you're professionally going to sell, get this fondant roller. Don't use home ka belan. Don't use home ka belan, because sometimes a wooden rolling pin will have some or the other, slightly it will be up or down. So use this and put less pressure. Fine. How to maintain thickness? By putting very minimal pressure and then doing the process slowly, doing the rolling slowly. If you end up rolling very fast, it will not work out. Fine. All right, so now we are going to bake these, but before we bake these, I'll also show you guys some more shapes and variations that you can do. Top angle. Alright, so here Naga Maleshwari has put in the chat window. If dough is not cold enough, put it back in the fridge for 45 minutes to 1 hour. If the dough is crumbly, damp the hands and mix the dough again. Same size biscuits should go in the same tray. Grind all the dry ingredients until fine powder. Yeah, and again, we have few more points. Temperature of the butter, temperature of the dough, and consistency of the dough. If the consistency of the dough is too wet, too oily, too greasy, too moist, you have done somewhere some mistake. You gotta go back and fix it, at least for the next time. All right. And the thickness in which how do you sheet. All right, so here the same batch I have. So for these biscuits, do you guys know how are these biscuits made? Do you guys know how is this biscuit made? Doesn't it look very pretty? Yeah, just using a knife, correct. So here it is the same dough. You can add in a little bit of cashew nuts in this dough, although I haven't added for now. You can add cashew nuts into this dough. So simply shape this dough into a log. Shape this dough into a log. And I usually, for logging, I usually like to use the non-dominant hand, because mostly in the dominant hand, what happens is I'm a right-hander. So my dominant hand is right hand. So what happens for me in the right hand, I end up giving too much pressure and the shape becomes conical on the right side. So I like to use my non-dominant hand. And that's all. So you roll these biscuits into a diameter of the final product that you want. So the final product is around 5 centimeters or 2 inches. So we're going to roll it until it is 2 inches or 5 centimeters. I think we have rolled it a little thinner. It's only 4 centimeter, but it's okay. I'll show you guys how to do it, how it is done. So when you take the entire recipe, this is a half recipe that I've done. So that is why the biscuits are small here. And the recipe is absolutely scalable and it is easy to scale. So here we got a log. What you have to do is the secret here is, small secret here is, you got to chill the dough. So the pulled texture comes because of cold dough. So what are we going to do? We are going to grab this dough, scissors. We're going to cling wrap this dough. We're going to cling wrap this dough and keep it in the freezer for 15 to 20 minutes. All right, just 15 to 20 minutes. And then we're going to remove it from the freezer and then we're going to cut. And we're going to cut, I'll show you guys later. Front angle. I'll show you guys. It's gone into the fridge. It's gone into the fridge. 1 minute. It's gone into the fridge. And once it is cold enough, I'll cut you guys and I'll show you. I'll show everything. Don't worry. In the freezer for 15 minutes to 20 minutes. Not in the fridge. Just keep it in the freezer for 15-20 minutes. In the fridge means you will end up keeping for a very, very long time. Alright. So now what are we actually doing? From the first recipe, which is butter biscuit, how are we going to create over 5+ different variations? Okay, so we've seen how to create almond biscuits, how to create butter biscuits, how to create salt and sweet and salt biscuit, and then now I'm going to teach you guys how to create this coffee bean biscuit. This coffee bean looks so cute, and for those who love coffee, you guys will love this biscuit. You can also create a simple chocolate almond using this recipe. Simple chocolate almond using this recipe. Just take this recipe, follow the same method like I've shown, and you can shape it in whichever form you want. Top angle. So here we have the chocolate dough. So you, in the mixie, when you're grinding wheat flour and almond flour, you'll also grind in cocoa powder because the recipe contains cocoa powder. So you'll also grind in cocoa powder, grind it all together and then follow the same method. All right, so using this, you can create any shapes. I'm going to show you how to create the coffee bean shape. Yeah. Okay, so here we have our dough. You simply weigh it out, 20 grams. Like I said, if you want to do it professionally, you will have to maintain shapes. Even if you check out all the shapes of this coffee bean biscuits which we have made, all of the biscuits will have uniform shape. So weigh it out, 20 grams is what we are doing. You can also do it small, big, however you want. And first create a slightly round shape. And when you're doing this, please don't over knead. Please don't over knead. Please don't over knead. Yeah. Form a shape like this, an oval shape. Form an oval shape like this. Can you guys see here? A slight oval shape. And then use a barbecue stick and then just press it in the center. and slightly narrow the edges. Slightly narrow the edges, and you can also flatten it out. Slightly narrow down the edges so that it resembles coffee bean. So the barbecue stick is to create an indentation. So that is your coffee bean. It also looks like a lip. Yeah. So now any questions with respect to this? Front angle? Okay, so before we wind down on this recipe, we also have our log ready. So here is a log that we kept in the fridge. Give me a small one. And then how are we going to cut? We are not going to cut using a knife. I'm going to cut using a bent scraper, a blunt bent scraper. Don't take a very sharp bent scraper, a blunt one. Okay? And pick up something which is slightly more smaller so it's easy for you to handle.